Hello everyone. Today I'm at Bishopwearmouth Cemetery in Sunderland. I haven't done a brand new video for I think it's about over a week now, but it's a lovely evening. It's red hot, there's loads of flies about, so I thought I'll just do a video at Ward 4C at this cemetery, which is Sunderland's largest, because it's got so much interesting stuff in just this one small section. I do think it was like a non-conformist section for like Methodists, Presbyterians and so on, because I recognise a few of the people who I've done stories on about in the past. So I'm just going to have a look at see if there's any headstones that I know a little bit about, or I've got anything interesting about them, or if there's any surnames that catch my eye. Now, on my videos I always mention about Edwin Smyth, one of Sunderland's greatest monumental masons. And this is his grandfather. They shall hear his voice and shall come forth. This is Robert Smyth, and this says the able and faithful parish schoolmaster of Polwarth, Berwickshire, from 1824 to 1873. So what's that? 49 years. He died June the 29th, 1879, aged 81 years. And then his wife, Barbara Dixon. And then it mentions Robert Smyth, sorry, I always get them mixed up. And at the very bottom is William Smyth, son of the above, who died at Churnside, Berwickshire, January the 5th, 1917, aged 70 years. So Robert, when he retired, he came to live with his son, one of his sons, down in Millfield. And William, Edwin's father, must have come here a few years before. So Edwin went on to come on to do some of the finest monumental headstones and so on that you'll see in any of the Sunderland cemeteries or the local area. Very talented man. I don't think there's any in this section, because this is a little, I think this is probably before Edwin started his work. It's rather warm. And look at this grand one. In loving memory of Edmund Kidd, who died December the 9th, 1889, aged 44 years. Be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. That's from Matthew in the Bible. That's a memento mori, remember to the reader that you must die. Lots of mariners mentioned in this section. In memory of Mary Ann Moore, relics, that means a widow who never remarried, of the late Captain William Moore, who died April the 6th, 1879, aged 57 years. And also of the above William Moore, who died in Calcutta, February the 1st, 1865, aged 46 years. So common. Many men and women from Sunderland, Bishopwearmouth, Montwearmouth died in far off lands, distant seas. Now we've got this one. In loving memory of Alan Watt, the beloved husband of Isabel Watt, who was drowned in the SS Ottercaps, of which he was master for 25 years and which was wrecked near Brest in France on February the 26th, 1903, aged 61 years. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. And he's interred in Plagoff Cemetery, looks like Audière in France. It was a disaster, and I think around 20 Sunderland men died in that tragedy. I think if you just Google SS Cop Ottercaps, you'll get the full story. Somewhere around here there was a leading Sunderland poet, if I can find him. Look at that. Robert, the burial ground of Robert and E. Hedley, and it's got Robert Job, son-in-law of the above, who was drowned at Cardiff Dock, 1879, aged 33 years. So I've only looked at what's that, about 3 out of the 5 or 6 headstones I've looked at, and they all mention drownings and shipping accidents and so on. Now, I think around this spot here is one of the Victoria Hall disaster victims. From memory, I think it was called Johnson, and an unmarked grave. It's on this end section here. I think it is actually there, or it's just a little bit further up. I've just seen another mariner family. Look at this. Charles Hedley, master mariner, beloved son of the above, who was lost on the island of Burikan on the east coast of Borneo, December the 26th, 1878, aged just 43 years. And John Hedley, master mariner, son of the above, who was lost in the Black Sea. I think that's 1860 something. And then Richard Hedley, son of the above, who died on his passage from Bombay on July the 13th, aged 1865, aged 22 years. And then John Hedley, grandson, who died in London. So what's that? The wife, I don't think she mentioned on the burial place. Oh, Anne Hedley, so she lost a son in Borneo, which I think is Malaysia now. And then a son died in the Black Sea. And then another one died in the passage from Bombay. Skipsey, Miller. Just trying to look for the one for the poet. I think it might just be down here. I think it's this one which is actually snapped, actually. If it is, this particular gentleman, is it this one? Oh, here it is. There it is. John Green, author and poet, died 13th of April 1899, aged 68 years, lovingly remembered. He wrote, I think it was a book, Tales of Wearside and Ballads and Poems. He also wrote pantomimes. And he was born, I think, on Crowtree Lane, I should say, in the centre of Sunderland. He died in Lime Street. I think he had a child when he was in his 60s. But if you Google John Green, his book's still available on Amazon. What's this on? Elizabeth, the beloved wife of James Telford, who departed this life June the 28th, 1880, aged 52 years. Farewell, dear husband, my life is past. I have done my duty to the last. Keep not, but Christ thy Saviour make, and love my children for my sake. And also James Telford, it's great out there, but if I remember, James carried on going. He was like an engineer on a ship, and I think he was in his 70s when there was an accident on the Firth of Forth. Came home, but he died of his injuries, and he was still going to sea at a grand age. Phyllis Girk. An affectionate remembrance of William Rowell, ship owner. I always pray to God, to him I put my trust. Lots of ship owners. You could buy shares in ships, so one ship might be owned by several local men or women. You could make a fortune, but you'd also lose a fortune. Many ship owners sadly took their own life. There's another one. James Crozier, master mariner. Who's this there? Also of Thomas, husband of the above, who died October the 27th, 1854, aged 54 years, and was interred in Westgate Cemetery, Newcastle on Tyne. Their end was peace. Oh, I've seen an Edwin Smyth. There actually is one in here. Now this one here is for somebody who actually came from my hometown, Barnard Castle, the family burial ground of Forrester and Anne Lindsley. I have done a story about this particular family, but if you look how many children are sadly lost. Hannah, another Hannah, Thomas, a Forrester, a Richard, a Robinson, an Alice and an Ada, children of the above who died in infancy. Gone, yes he's gone, whom we so dearly loved, whose tender kindness we so often proved. Oh yes he's gone, his happy spirits fled, and now he's numbered with the silent dead. I think it was his son or grandson became a trade union guy in the local area. But they were from Barnard Castle and they moved to Horton and then eventually they ended up in Sunderland. And I think his wife carried on a early photography business somewhere in Sunderland. It's a while since I did that story, so it's a little bit patchy. And we have another Barnard Castle collection here, because if you remember, I did a video at Starforth the other month and I mentioned about the church. It was actually constructed by, I think it was Thomas Borrowdale, and his brother William. He came to live in Sunderland and he became one of the leading monumental masons in the town. His sons set up a business after on their own eventually. William Borrowdale, born 1845, died 1st July 1916, and that's Elizabeth's second wife. Still quite a few Borrowdales in Barnard Castle now. But this is his first wife, in loving memory of Louisa, wife of William Borrowdale, born 9th of November 1848, died 5th of December 1874, and then Thomas, their son, who died in infancy. So William lost his wife and that child within, I think it was a couple of days of things. Must have been some complications with the childbirth. I love this. Is a great name here. I'll just show it here. Lettice Hughes. I've done a story on this particular family as well. Martin, I think it was Martin, he had a sad story. I think his wife and child, I think his child was baptised on the day of his wife's funeral because they'd had complications and so on. Look at this. An affectionate remembrance of John Hall of 6 Bedford Street, Bishopwearmouth. Bedford Street is still there, and if you remember the Blue Monkey, that's the street it was on. It's great when they tell you where somebody lived, but if you notice there, so this is as late as 1875. An important bit on this headstone is where he lived. See, he mentions Bishopwearmouth, not Sunderland. So even though the borough of Sunderland had been around since the 1830s, that family wanted to say he lived in Bishopwearmouth. This is a great one. Members of the Urton family, and abide with me from morn till eve, for without thee I cannot live. Abide with me when night is nigh, for without thee I dare not die. Quite deep. Some grand epitaphs in here. George. And this one here. That's for Cody. And it's Japanese. The only son of Osmundson, and I won't move it so I don't want to destroy the decorations of natives of Japan. This is the first Japanese monument erected in this country. Look at that. Flies are getting worse. And then look, we've got there Henry Broomfield, who was lost at sea in the gale of Good Friday, April the 14th, 1876. And also John Clough, son-in-law of the above, who was lost in the same ship, aged 20 years. It's just everywhere you look, it's shipping accidents and drownings. There's Pickering, Richardson, Harwood, and there was an Edwin Smyth one over here somewhere. A few Scottish names there. Look, Robert Kinmond, Master Mariner. See if we can find that Edwin Smyth. There is quite a few Scottish names in here, so possibly it was a Presbyterian section. Bruce. Now look, that's one of Edwin Smyth's works. Didn't always do mosaics, but he was well known for them and his lettering. Irving's. More Pickering. See, there's so much history just in this one particular section. And now we've got, look, David Sinclair. He was for many years deacon of the Baptist Church in Sand Street, Bishopwearmouth, and was well known in the town as a visitor of the sick. The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance. And now his son, Joseph Sinclair, he actually sadly took his own life. I think he was a tailor. or a draper. It's getting warm. Denton, Nixon, Jolly, Appleby. It just goes on and on and on, this particular cemetery. That's a fine one. That's members of, I think it's Ball family. Now we've got here Dinah Atkinson. I love that name. My great grandma's called Dinah. What's this? Looks like that. Here rests in peace by death laid low a head almost as white as snow. Who can forget that aged face which beamed with hope and every grace? Or forget that smile of love which proved her born for heaven above. It's a lovely epitaph. How old was she? 74 years was Dinah. Absolutely massive cemetery, 80 acres. And here's another monumental mason. This is for members of the Rosebery family. They had a business as well, so just this one section we've had Rosebery, Smyth and Borrowdale. And this one here, I'm going to finish on this one. This is for Jane Hengler, relict of Henry Michael Hengler. This headstone deserves his story in itself, because Henry Michael Hengler actually, when he was young, left England to go to France and was trained by, I think, one of the leading trapeze artists in Europe. And he actually performed for, I think, Louis XIV, or was he the Sun King, that one, and Marie Antoinette. And years later, Jane, who was Dublin born, came to Sunderland to be with one of his sons. And Jane, she had about 12 or 13 kids. One of her kids, if you've ever been to Glasgow and the Hengler Circus, I think it's one of the Wetherspoons up there, that's named after her son, because he was involved in like circuses and animal shows and all stuff like that. Alright, I'm going to bring this video to a close because it's absolutely roasting evening and I've got a couple of things to do. So thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, and if you want, click on the subscribe to help grow the channel, and I will see you next time. Take care.